Let's talk about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. This week it is embarking on what they're calling the voter annual education. So this is coming at a time when, on one hand, the CEO in an article was quoted as saying that they don't have money for voter registration. They're in debt in as far as 2013 elections and some of the money that went into preparations. They're also suffering in terms of public trust, that their confidence, the numbers have dwindled because, again, of what has emerged from that. And also Raila Odinga and other leaders who've called for the disbandment of IEBC. We have 2 years to go to the general election. When you look at this, what should be the priority of IEBC? Approaching 2017, they face a myriad of issues, including confidence, which is key. Perception, that when people are going to the vote and they're going to, cast their votes, the sanctity of that and trusting that this institution will make sure yours counts as was cast is important. But that is just one of the numerous issues they face.
2 years ago, about 2 years ago, I expressed this view. Somebody of Mheshimiwa Raila's status and support, if he comes out and casts aspersion on an institution, it kills that institution. As we talk now, he has hit the IEBC so much and so hard that they have lost credibility, whether what they did was wrong or whether what they did is right. And as a country, coming from the experience of 2007, the best would be we deal with the issue of IEBC today. We all sit down together, agree whether we are going to go on with these people or we are going to reconstitute it, so that we have a fresh IEBC which has time, if that is the path we are going to go through, which has time to register voters and to prepare for the next election. If we keep on jostling like that with the punctured IEBC, then whatever they do thereafter will create more issues. We may go back to elections with even more issues, and nobody will accept that they have lost. If President Uhuru lost, he would not accept. He would say, these are Raila IEBC. If Mheshimiwa Raila won or lost, he would say, these are Uhuru IEBC. So I think as a country, if we love this country, it is time for us to say, look, the IEBC has been hit so hard that they have lost credibility because of those punching, and therefore, what do we do now so that we are clear the 2 years we are ready preparing for elections?
Yeah, Senator, what do you say? Because on one hand, calling for its disbandment and the issues being raised, there's argument for why that is being called for. But on the other hand, if we end up with the same IEBC, what are you then telling your supporters? That let's go in there, but we don't trust these people from the get-go?
You know, if you want to know how for granted the government takes IEBC, they go and make an announcement that they're establishing consulars to facilitate diaspora voters. And I recall we hit that hard the first day, and I think they came out now saying, oh no, we were not consulted in that decision. You know, when I already know that you count for nothing, like what the ESCC right now is, it counts for nothing. I see some of its leaders, the persons who are still there, constantly meeting government operatives, I don't know, discussing what. But that said and done, when you count for nothing,
and yet you can
make a declaration. IEBC right now its only capacity is to hold successful elections at local level, county.
So such as yours, presidential.
But at that level where there is high interest, high stake, I think they mellow. You look at the characters of the personalities in there. Part of these things has nothing to do with the independence of institutions. It has more to do a lot more about character. I have been a commissioner myself, and I know how hard it takes. That independence is a combination of the functional mandate and the character. And right now, I think all commissions have been scared. You see what has happened, how ESCC has been decimated. It shows you that all you need is a flimsy letter to the legal committee in Parliament headed by Chepkonga, who will pass a recommendation for your tribunal, and you will be forced out immediately.
What you're saying here, Senator, is that IEBC is good for
what I'm saying,
county governments, not good for national elections.
No, I'm saying its capacity is diminished to that extent that we have doubts whether it can hold an election of
But we now have an election coming 2017. That's granted, it's a given. So how do you balance the two? On one hand, wanting those issues you have addressed, but on the other, not puncturing this referee so much so that everyone, perhaps even voter apathy becomes an issue, because people will be like, why bother going to vote if anyway the people who are going to be in charge of...
They've taken a good young man and appointed him CEO. I'm being very sincere.
Shiloba.
Yeah, Ezra, I worked with him for 4 years when I was at the KNCHR. I know him as he's younger than me, so they've taken a very young man. I hope he can steer credibility. I believe he was elected, was appointed on merit, and I want to believe. But whether he can overrule 9 commissioners is because commission is the policy body, and this commission now has already a template that we can simply take a flimsy allegation to a tyrannical, lumpen parliament. Legal parliament and the legal committee, and they will pass a vote that they establish a tribunal, and before you realize you'll all be skipping out. So we are in a rock and a hard place, but we have warned about these issues for since 2013 elections. So this is not something new. And we will not allow a situation where, like Burundi, where the ESCC, what is it called? ESC and ESCC, almost of similar character. East African Community says that now, you see, the circumstances for holding an election in Kenya are not conducive. The circumstances will have to be conducive. So we have to work backwards and ensure that every safeguard for a free and fair election is put into place.
Between a rock and a hard place, perhaps a good way of putting it, what does the IEBC, in your opinion, need to do to win confidence from Kenyans? Because they need that going forward. On the other hand, taking the heat.
Let's take it. IEBC came in, a new commission after the coming in of the new constitution. They came in very short. Now, when you are being hit with a big hammer from a big Herculean man called Raila Odinga, he hit the IEBC, he hit the court, and immediately, because he has 5 million supporters with their children, if you take that ratio out of the 40 million Kenyans, you'll find that 15 million Kenyans believe exactly what he says. So you lose confidence among 15 million Kenyans, you go down. Even Mutunga went down.
But when Jubilee then stands by quote-unquote IEBC, doesn't that propagate the same things Raila is raising? They all need to come and address the issues now and then move on.
When Raila started accusing these institutions, you leave Jubilee between a rock and a hard place. You defend IEBC, they say, they're rigged for you, that's why you're defending them. The other side, you say, look, if you are quiet to say you are not defending institutions. So as government, it reaches a time when you say, no, we have to say this. Then they say, you see, Raila says, you see, I told you. Now see the way they are defending them, because they stole elections for them. The same as the judiciary. So first and foremost, you need to talk to your man and say, to enable this country to grow, he should support institutions, not hit them as and when they come. He has hit IEBC so much that my honest view is that we should address it today by reconstituting. I feel sad because the IEBC chairman is my classmate and a good man and an innocent man. And then it appears the other gods may have conspired. Then the chicken gate also came and Raila took that and ran away with it. So under those circumstances, and in view of the venom that court is pouring and the possible loss of elections that they are also facing, to avoid chaos, I think we need to reconstitute so that they bring us an Omar as one of the commissioners. So
you'd urge your people from Jubilee to support this reconstitution?
Otherwise, they are going to lose. They are not going to accept that, and then it will be chaos. I think
if you want to